fear has been programmed into so many of us for so many different reasons, unconsciously for the most part. And that's why I always say there's more unlearning that we have to do as opposed to learning in itself, right? Because deep down within you, within that quiet place that exists, you already have all the answers. You have all the information, all of the understandings and inner knowings exist within you right now, right? But the problem is that all of those things are being covered by all of these different programmings that we've accepted, uh, whether it be in our childhood, our upbringing, or traumatic events. And that's what the issue is, right? So before you can actually solve a problem, you must first acknowledge what the problem is, right? Like, what is the primary issue that is holding you back? And most people are unaware of these things. And that's why I always say awareness is the greatest form of intelligence, because without awareness, how do you know what actions to take or not to, rather, right? And when we talk about this concept of freedom, and feeling free, and like what that actually means, like, how do you measure that? In most cases, I feel like most people measure that, maybe in the form of material wealth, financial wealth. Um, whoa, whoa! This little dog just pulled up on me, bro. Bro came out of nowhere. Yeah, like, how do you measure that? Is it, doing what you love every single day? And a way that I always like to phrase it is, like, I get to do these things. Like, I feel so happy and so blessed that I get to do what I choose to do every single morning, and that's what empowers that sense of freedom. You know what I'm saying? But it's a choice, right? And that's what not a lot of people understand, is like, you think that, like, if you're not happy with your current life circumstances, what you don't understand and what you don't currently realize is that you have a choice. But the reason that you're living a life that isn't fulfilling is because on the deepest level, you don't believe that you have a choice. You think that you have to do these things that you don't want to do, or live a life that you don't want to live. That's the furthest thing from the truth. It's just a matter of wiring your mind in a way that supports the life that you're trying to live. So I really encourage you to, be still, right? Make some time to be still. Identify what it is that you actually want, whether it's traveling the world, creating content, putting out that next song, or, recording yourself, putting out that video, that talking head video that you've been putting off for so long because you're waiting for the right time, right? But it's when you really, like, uncover this on the deepest level, right? Fear in so many aspects of our lives, like, control us, right? If we unconsciously allow it to. And that's why you need to bring these things to the surface. You need to bring these things that are within you and acknowledge them for what they are. Become intimate with them. It's okay that they exist, right? A lot of people, that I've spoken to, one of the primary issues that they deal with is, it's like, yes, like feeling fear, or feeling anxiety, or lacking with conviction within themselves or belief. But then, as I said, awareness is the greatest form of intelligence. So before you can actually correct an issue, you must first identify and understand that it's there, right? But then once these people, and myself included in the past, and it's something that I really had to learn from, were able to uncover what this fear was, they spent way too much time feeling ashamed or embarrassed, or, just lesser than, because they had that fear. And making peace with the fact that they had that fear was very, it put them in a very low frequency. It made them feel guilt or shame, or, as I said, embarrassment, right? When there's no point in dwelling on it. I think, again, like, a lot of these fears were projected onto us, and when we were in our earlier stages of life, we didn't know whether or not they were true. And because we didn't know any better, we accepted the beliefs. But now, as I'm sure most of y'all watching now, you're either an adult or a young adult. You have the conscious choice of deciding what it is that you want to believe and what it is that you see within this reality. And there's no point in dwelling on or, you know, feeling bad about the beliefs or the fears that you either used to have or currently have and are working through. Because it's very natural. If anything, you need to give yourself some more love, give yourself some more credit for the fact that you're actually acknowledging these fears for what they are. And you're not going to allow yourself to feel bad about them, because you can use that time and energy to pick yourself back up and move forward as far as, cultivating a new mindset, a new perspective of the world that supports your beliefs and your goals. It's crazy. I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate. I know during the pandemic, there was, just a lot of chaos, right? And with chaos comes a lot of questions. And that's when so many people were just having their awakenings, myself included, where everything was coming to the surface. A lot of the things that you didn't want to believe, a lot of the things that you just wish weren't true, were true, as far as, just how this world operates and how you really need to take accountability for the belief system that you accept, right? And, just starting to see reality with your own two eyes as opposed to the lens that is created for you. It takes a lot of willpower and, discipline to be able to do that. And when I say discipline, I don't mean like, it physically, like in this physical reality. I'm talking about the willpower and discipline internally, as far as what it is that you think, what it is that you accept, right? Because changing your thought patterns and changing, you know, what you accept to be true requires discipline and consistency, right? It's not something that's gonna happen right away. It requires like repetition and turning that repetition into muscle memory. So then you don't have to consciously remind yourself, you know, like every hour of the day or whatever it is, to think a certain way or to see things a certain way, because you've been so disciplined for so long. It's now natural. It's a habit to embody certain beliefs and certain points of views, right? Like, I think a perfect example is, think about like going to the gym, right? If you have this perception of yourself as someone who is fit, someone who is very disciplined and athletic and healthy, right? And you have now cultivated this new lifestyle around going to the gym and being consistent, right? And you have, you know, embodied that mindset, embodied that identity. You have supported that identity through taking action, right? Now, when you don't go to the gym, something feels off, right? Because you've now established such a consistent routine with this lifestyle. It is an ingrained habit within your subconscious mind. So now when you don't go to the gym, it's like, damn, like, I haven't been to the gym in a few days. It's like something's off. I feel out of balance, right? That's the discipline I'm talking about. Yes, the action that you take as far as making the time to go out to the gym supports it, but it's the identity, it's the mindset, it's how you see yourself, right? And that is directly correlated with your beliefs, right? That's what it's all about, man. Establishing, I keep saying beliefs, but I think it's even more important to turn those beliefs up a notch, right? And turn them into knowings, right? The same way that you know that the sun is coming up, the same way that you know the sun is coming, like going down. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. That is the level of conviction that you need to establish within yourself, that fear doesn't need to exist. The power that is responsible for your existence and mine is within us, man, and all this nature. You're a part of all this, man. It's all one consciousness, just different experiences. Don't lose sight of that. I love y'all so much, man. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. KT signing off.